Hey, welcome back to Emlyn in the Mix. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be looking at Korg Legacy Collection version 2. Yes, it's the update. It's a free update for current Korg Legacy Collection owners. This video today is brought to you by the Emlyn in the Mix podcast. Search for the podcast on your favorite apps like iTunes and Spotify. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button below if you like what you see today. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you want to see more. And without further ado, let's get stuck into Korg Legacy Collection version 2. Boom! Alright, so here we have it, guys. Korg Legacy Collection version 2. I've got the ARP Odyssey up first here on the screen. Not a lot has changed. Since I upgraded to the 64-bit version, the Korg ARP Odyssey was already included, and in terms of GUI and that sort of thing, it all looks pretty much the same. Now they're saying here with the update, the GUIs have been improved upon and the browsing has been fixed up. But as far as Korg ARP Odyssey, it looks pretty much the same to me. Let's just have a quick listen to some of these classic Korg ARP Odyssey sounds, because if you're thinking about upgrading or if you're thinking about getting the Korg Legacy Collection, this is the reason why. And these are beautiful analog emulations. Let's have a listen here. Let's get something up here. Get a different sound for us here. Which gear, that's pretty cool. Very rhythmic. There we go. So the analog sounds have been faithfully recreated, and they've done a really good job with just getting it sounding authentic. You can hear the syncing, going in and out of sync with each other. It's very nice. Now if you click on the presets here, you get your expanded preset view, and you can go through all your different presets here. You've got factory, and you've got user presets and so forth here on the left. Just really beautiful, awesome analog sounds. Now let's keep moving along and see what else has been updated. Alright, here we have the Legacy cell. Now again, I can't really see any real big improvement on the GUI. Previously I had upgraded to the 64-bit version, so there was an improvement from the 32-bit versions to the 64-bit versions, but from 64-bit to the now updated Legacy cell, I can't actually see the huge improvement on the GUI. But let's have a quick listen to some of the sounds. Now the Legacy cell, what it does is it incorporates the MS-20 and the Poly 6 and makes combinations of those using those two different synths. But let's have a listen here. Now when the Korg Legacy Collection originally came out, the Legacy cell was one of the first components of that collection, as well with the MS-20 and the Poly 6. So that's why this is looking a little bit old now. I believe it came out in 2004. I got my first copy in about 2007. I've loved it ever since. I love the Korg sounds and the authentic analog and old school digital wave station sounds. But not a lot has changed here with the Legacy cell, which is kind of cool. They've kept it faithful to the original software. If you go up the top here, you can actually have a look through, and you can actually play with your different sounds inside. You've got an MS-20 here, I can play with the cutoff, and your Poly 6 is here. I just find this GUI so small to look at though. You do have that edit functionality there, which is good, and you can look at your presets by clicking down here and sort of going through, changing them in there, and you can do the same with the MS-20. So you got this combination going. And you get some really interesting results just by sort of playing around. Now with that last preset that was really loud, that one there, right? I can actually go back to performance here, and I can just turn that mixer fader there down. Just try and get my mix right, you might want the pad up a little bit more and have that arpeggiator a little bit lower. So I actually really like the Legacy Cell. I sort of wish that the GUI had been updated or that it was rescalable like some of the other GUIs which I'm about to show you. But I still really love this as an awesome combination of those two classic synthesizers from Korg. Alright, so here's the M1. It looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? However, this has definitely been updated, and this comes with a massive sigh of relief. Alright, so here it might look like the GUI hasn't changed much, but if you click utility up here, yes, finally we have screen size change, and that is so small. I like to put it on full. Oh my goodness, I can actually see now. My screen is actually massive, as you can see there from the shot. But having it on full just allows me to expand it open and just be able to see what I'm doing now, so it's fantastic. And what's classic with Korg is you can go through and without even having to double click on a preset, you just go through and you can actually, your presets load straight away onto your MIDI controller. Crystal code. And it's just made it so much easier to browse and look through. You've even got this preview button here, which will actually just play a nice little melody for you. Or depending on what you've got it on. That's an intro loop. Well, these are drums, so that's not really going to help. There we go. So you can just go through, listen to a sound, find something you like. You got a lot of drum kits as well. The M1's fantastic. You know, just having this ability to make the scalable GUI is so good because you can actually get in there, really see, even some of this has been updated as well. Like, you can really see your program and being able to get in there and just sort of mess with it now, which you really couldn't do before. Alright, so I've got a classic filter clav preset here on my M1. So the next thing I want to show, which is updated in the Korg Legacy Collection, is the MDAX, which is their effects unit, and you can see straight away the GUI has changed. There's no resizable GUI as far as I can see, but the great thing is it is very easy to sort of search for an effect that you might want. You got dyno compressor, you got compressor, multi-band limiter, you got master limiter. Let's put you got a bunch of effects here, decimator, flanger, so forth. Let's put a reverb hall, and you can hear that's already had a nice little effect. Dial in the wet mix, so you get the idea. Not bad sounding effects. Put a preview on. Dial in your effects, and you got other effects too. Flanger. Phaser. Sorry. Distortion. Feedback reverb. So yeah, that is a really cool little update there from Korg. Obviously they're rescaling and updating all their GUIs. The MDEX is also updated in this Korg Legacy Collection version 2. Woo! Very happy with that. Alright, let's look at our next update here. Alright guys, so we have the monopoly. Oh my goodness, I cannot even see it, but yes, you do have a rescalable GUI. So you just hit this utility button down here, which you can barely see, and let's put it on full, and voila. What a sigh of relief, actually being able to see this. So this has totally been updated. It looks amazing. Yeah, it looks really good. You can see all the knobs very clearly. They've done sort of almost like a cartoon characterization on the graphics. But you can go through your different presets here. Got basses, synth hard. And it has all those little nice intricacies and nice randomness that an analog synth would do. Soft synth. Very nice indeed. Motion. really beautiful sounding, you know what I mean? Like you just, and your presets are all here, and you can go through based on your category. You can keep going through. You got a brass sound, hits, chords. They're all here, you know, like keys and plucks. There's heaps of presets. So also if you go through, say you choose your categories here, all your presets are going to come up inside those categories. So you got all your different, for example, sound effects, complex, you got your hits and your chords. They've just made it a lot easier to find the sounds, the classic sounds that you want from these analog synths. That has a really long decay, by the way. Alright, let's look at our next update. And this is a big update. Yes, MS-20, and it looks beautiful. And again, a tiny GUI, but not no more, because we can literally go to screen size. I like full 120%. Boom! I can just see it so well now. And also the browser is amazing now. This wasn't here before. So you can go through different banks, you got your different types, and then all your presets are going to come up as well. Let's say we want ARP sequencer. All my presets are here. Keeping in mind the MS-20 is a monophonic synth, so you can't really play chords as such. Some beautiful ARP sequences. Hits and chords. Beautiful keys and plucks. Let's have a look through here. Classic MS-20 sounds. Really love it. And you've even got these banks here, which is fantastic. Korg USA Bank, where they've contributed to this. MS-20 Factory 1 and 2, and then you got a template bank here as well, or a user bank, sorry. Okay, let's move along to the Poly 6. There's a few to get through, obviously with the Korg Legacy Collection. Same deal here, we've got our GUI, it looks tiny, can barely see it, just change it. Couldn't do this before. This is just, for me, this is, I guess, I'm making a big deal of it, because it was just so needed. It was so needed that you could actually improve upon the GUI. And the GUI also on this has been totally revamped. It's very clear, very vivid, can see everything. It's the new updated Poly 6. You got your effects here, you can add them as well. You can just simply, this is like basically having an MDEX inside the Poly 6. I just put a reverb. You know, put a bit of reverb in there. Again, you got this beautiful layout where I can just get in and see all my different presets. I can go lead here. Just beautiful indeed, just being able to go through, get your presets so easily. This makes me so excited and makes me want to just make heaps of music with the Korg Legacy Collection. Alright, so let's look at, there's only a couple more to get through. Let's look at the Korg Triton. Alright, the Korg Triton's up here. Not a lot has changed. This was only released last year and it's a beautiful addition to the Korg Legacy Collection. Alright, let's just have a quick look here at the Korg Triton. Again, classic sounds. You don't really need to change the GUI on this. You can hit the presets here and just go through, you know, some of the sounds. I have some amazing drum kits actually. I really like the drum kits in the Korg Triton. But there's literally just a plethora of sounds on here. And very authentic sounding, you know, it's a workstation, so you had like trumpets, brass. So basically it is the Korg Triton with all of the expansions that ever came out, plus more. It's freaking amazing. Last I want to show you, and this has been massively updated, I'm very excited, is the Wave Station. Tiny GUI again, but it's very simple to fix. We just go to utility, which I can barely read on the screen, and we go to full, and boom. And the good thing is that now that I've made them big, when I load these back up, they will remain at that big GUI size that I preferred. So you got your classic wave station here. You know, and go through some of our combination of sounds. We've got a preview button here. You know, classic Korg wave station. We can go through some of the sounds here. We can use the preview button to get through. Got our different ROM cards here as well. Beautiful sounds, you know. Just find something you like. And now I really like that, so I can just really authentic to the Korg wave station. Beautiful synth. You've got your vector positioning as well, and you can do some randomization here. And you got your KLC has a collection as well. Beautiful. Once we get a sound we like, we can double click it. You can do all your editing and stuff as well. You got your settings. It's just so much easier to see what's going on now. It's fantastic. It's going to be my go-to. You got your effects in here as well. Filter, amp, pan, envelope, LFO 1 and 2. I just really love the presets in the wave station. Ooh, some really scary stuff there too. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. As you can see, it's a massive graphical user interface update. But also, I think the main thing to take away from this is just being able to get into the presets easier and finding the sounds you want, because before it wasn't as easy as just having, you know, you've been able to see your banks and your presets and your user presets and everything. It's a lot more easier to navigate now. So I think that is the main thing to take away. Not only these updated graphics, but the main thing I took away is just the ease of use of finding new sounds, which I haven't actually been able to explore through because in the past I found it really hard. If you haven't got the Korg Legacy Collection yet, then now may be the time to upgrade. And if you already have the Korg Legacy Collection, go do yourself a favor and update your plugins right now. It's free. You've got nothing to lose. And I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Thanks for joining me on Emlyn Mix. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, subscribe to the Emlyn in the Mix podcast as well. You can find it on all your favorite apps, iTunes, Spotify, etc. And until next time, thanks for joining me, guys. Peace out. Boom.